everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay, this is Coloring Bliss, and I have something in my art studio that I never thought I would be doing art with. Bleach toilet bowl cleaner. What am I going to do with this? Well, let's find out. So first off, I want to apologize for any extra background noise. I have my window open today to do extra ventilation while we're working with this bleach. So if you hear some kids screaming and laughing, that's the playground next to our house. That's the ambient noise you're hearing. Okay, so why do I have Clorox toilet bowl cleaner with bleach in my art studio? Well, recently we've been printing some of our coloring books on black paper, and so I've been doing some research and a lot of experimenting with what kind of art supplies and other things that you can use on black paper. And one of the things I came across was bleach, and it was suggested that you use toilet bowl cleaner bleach because it's more in a gel form, so it's a little easier to use in your art. So that's why I have it here in my art studio. That's why we have fans going and the windows open, and that's what we're going to be experimenting today in this coloring book. Now this coloring book is kind of special. It is a mandala coloring book that was drawn by me specifically for this type of experimentation. So all the mandalas in Mandala Bliss Volume 5 were drawn with big, wide open spaces and not a lot of details so that you can get in with your art tools and just really experiment. And then, of course, this book here, this one that I have in my hand, was printed on black paper. So we're going to experiment with bleach on black paper on the mandalas. And Mishka's excited too. And if it gets a little too fumy and stinky in here, I will shoo out all the pets. We've got Rose back here, Mishka the cat's meowing at my feet. I'll get rid of them all, but so far the experimenting I've been doing, they haven't been bothered by the smell at all, so I'll keep an eye on the pets, don't worry. Okay, but let me show you the experiments I've been doing because it's very interesting, the results I've been getting. Okay, so we started out with just a plain black piece of paper. This is the paper we've been printing the coloring books on. And I gathered up a few different tools that I thought would work well, and a little bowl to put the Clorox bleach into to control it. And going along the lines with the safety and keeping myself protected, I've been using rubber gloves. And I just kind of went through my art studio and pulled together a bunch of tools that I thought might work well with working with bleach. So this is the resulting experiments. So let me walk you through some of the things that I tried. Over here, I just used the cotton swab and I did a whole bunch of circles to see what would happen to the paper. So basically what's happening is we're applying bleach to this paper, and this paper has been treated to be black. So it's bleaching the dyes or pigments, whatever it is that they used on the paper, and we're getting a really cool result. So here I've layered multiple layers of the bleach. This was 1 layer of bleach, 2 layers of bleach, 3 layers of bleach, and 4 layers of bleach. So you can see the more bleach we're applying, the more bleached effect we're getting. And it's not turning white, it's turning this really cool color. I've been trying to decide what color is that. So let me grab the color wheel and let's look at it together. Is it more of a orangey color, a yellow color, a red color? So let's look at it together here and kind of decide what color are we getting as we bleach this out. Is it red-orange? It's definitely, according to this, more of an orange. Let's look at the back, because the back of the color wheel shows us some really cool things. So this band here on the color wheel, when you look at it, this band is the straight up pure color with a tint. So a tint is a color plus white. This band is a tone. So a tone is a color plus gray. And the shade is the color plus black. So I'm thinking what we're going to be seeing here is a shade, because this is black. So it's going to be the color plus black. So if we look down here, Is it more this color, yellow-orange? I don't think so. Is it more this color? I'm thinking so. It's not red-orange. I do think what we're getting is an orange. Here, let me slide this right up here like that and see. Is that what we're getting? Is it an orange? And I think it is. I think it's a shade of orange. So the undertones of this paper is an orange. It's kind of not what I expected. Let me show you that. Pretty cool. So the more bleach that I apply, the more orange the overall look is getting, the brighter and brighter the orange is getting. So we can work with that. I can play with that as I'm trying to create some sort of art piece, some sort of mandala. So I'm kind of thinking what I'm going to do is try to use just bleach. And not use any other art tools with this mandala. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing. So this was playing around with layering. This was using just a cotton swab and doing little circles. Over here, I dipped the cotton swab into the bleach and then I just tapped it around and I got these nice little dots here. Here I was playing with a flick stroke with the cotton swab. Look how cool those strokes are here. Okay, so then I tried a full strength swipe. So I took a drip of the bleach straight onto the paper. And then I used this little plastic palette knife and I pushed that drip right across the paper to see what it would do. Would we get a cool effect? Streaky? What would it do? So that's what this whole thing right here is. Up here, what I did on the edge, along the edge, is I took my bowl and I picked up some of the bleach with a slightly damp paper towel, and then I started to sort of burnish on the edge of the paper to see how I could get sort of a softer, more watered down effect. So that's what we got along here on this edge. And then over here I used an ink blending tool with just a flannel round on it, and I actually dipped straight into the Clorox bleach, loaded it up quite heavy, and then I swirled it around on here. And this looks fine. I think I can use it multiple times. And it did pick up some of the color from the paper, which doesn't bother me. And I was able to get a really nice blurred blend of that bleach on there. So I think that could be working out well for a more smooth, constant, less streaky look with the bleach, because over here it was trying with this to try to lay down a more solid block of the bleach, and you can see the stroke directions really plainly in that, and it wasn't very successful. I don't like the look of that one. Now here I was trying to attempt a gradient. So I took and dipped into my bleach, and then I swished down like that and did it a couple times. So the most amount of bleach was at the top and then least amount of bleach at the bottom to try to get a gradient, and it was relatively successful, I think. And then along here I was using a bristle brush. So that's this kind of brush here. It's still wet. I have it in the water. So it's just a really, this is a very cheap version, but it's a very strong bristles on the brush. So they're very strong and you can really push onto your paper. So I used those to make some flick strokes here to see if I could get a more expressive stroke with the brush, and it was sort of successful, I think, because this is more of a gelatinous type bleach. It kind of clumps onto any kind of tool that you're using. So if I was to use liquid bleach, maybe I would get a bit of a different effect on the bristle brush. And then here with the same bristle brush, I was doing like a stippling motion, just up and down straight, and I love that effect that I got on that was really cool. Now out here in this big mess, I tried something that I thought would work really well. And I used a makeup sponge right here. Dipped the makeup sponge into it and started to work it onto the paper, and I noticed that the makeup sponge started to turn orange, and I thought I was getting like a bubble, like it was forming bubbles into the bleach, and I was like, oh, maybe the bubbles will create a cool effect on the paper. But no, it wasn't bubbles. What was happening was the bleach was actually disintegrating the sponge, and then it was leaving behind a mucky residue from the sponge. So not all products are going to work well with bleach. This just totally disintegrated and caused a big mess. So nope for the makeup sponge. And it kind of just made a mucky mess. It was terrible. Okay. Then the next thing I tried was I added a little bit of water into what was left of my bleach in this bowl, sort of stirred it up a little bit, and then I poured it out onto the paper and lifted the paper up and allowed the bleach to drip down to see if I could get a cool drip effect. And I did. But because I think it was watered down a little bit, it wasn't very dramatic. So if I were to try that again, I think I would try it full strength, because if you can see down here where we had some drips of the full strength product falling straight onto, you can see them here again, and here's a full strength drip right here. When that happens, you get this beautiful, really strong orangey color coming out. So that was a really good accidental discovery of the drips hitting and creating a beautiful effect on the paper. So that's all the stuff that I have learned with my experimenting on this piece of paper. And now I'm ready to take it onto the mandala and see what kind of art I can create. I think the trick is going to be contrast, working with the layering and the different concentrations of the bleach, so that sometimes we have the black paper showing and sometimes we go as bleached out as we possibly can, so we have good contrast moments. And then just controlling the bleach. That's going to be the other trick. So this will be my first attempt to actually create a full piece of art, and I'm really excited to see what I can create with the bleach. So let's get our safety gear on, pick out a mandala, and let's get this started. Okay, this is the mandala I picked. Kind of feeling geometric today. Got my gloves on, and then I also grabbed one of my, this is a cutting board. It's just plastic and cheap. I pick these up at the Dollar Tree. They come two to a pack, and they are great for protecting your work surface when you know you're going to be extra messy. So I'm going to slide this behind this page to sort of protect the rest of my book from any bleach spill, any splash or whatever might happen in the next little while here. I have no idea what's about to happen. So I want to be prepared. Okay, then I'm going to keep handy my little experimental reference sheet here so I can remember the different techniques I want to try. And then I've got my little bowl so we can dispense out our art tool, the Clorox bleach. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Clorox. I think you could use a no-name brand. You could also use just plain old liquid bleach. But like I said, I'm opting for the gel because I think it's going to be a little easier to control. But I think it'd be fun to try the liquid bleach someday if I like this. Okay, so I'm going to put just a small amount to begin with into my little bowl here. Put this to the side, and I've got wet wipes and paper towels handy so I can stay clean and under control with this bleach. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to do is play around with this blending tool to try to create a bit of a light orange color on the background. Well, actually, I have to think of it the other way. It's a dark orange. And then we're going to use the more bleached out look on some of the different shapes here in the mandala. So the way I did that before was I just touched into the bleach like that. And I think maybe I'll use the glass medium mat to sort of work it into the foam, and then I'm going to start working it in as evenly as I can and let the bleaching effect begin. So fun. I like how quick it responds. When I was doing my samples, my experiments, I was also using my heat gun a little bit to help dry out some of the things I was trying. So I have my heat gun handy if I need it. Okay. So like I said, this doesn't smell that strong because I'm not using a lot. I'm using quite a small amount here. But if it does get overwhelming in smell, I will take Rose out, send her out. How am I going to do that top area? I could just go over it. Yeah, we're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to get it even. Like that. And then it just takes a second. See, watch it right here. It just takes a second for it to soak in and bleach. I'm going to go in just a little bit more. That's so satisfying to watch the bleaching effect. Okay. Go a little bit stronger with the bleach on the very corners to get the orange color to come up just a little brighter on the corners. Okay. All right, that's our first dive in. All right, now I need to start thinking contrast. These spots out here, I think I want to be pretty strong with the bleach because they're, we want to guide the eye in. So we started with a frame and I want to bring the eye in. So let's see, what would be the best tool? Now, one of the things I haven't tried yet is this little pipette. I'm wondering if I suck up some of the bleach. I don't know if this plastic can handle the bleach, so let's try it. If it's just going to melt the plastic, or if it'll work. Okay, let's give it a try. Now, oh, see, the problem I'm having is controlling the bleach. So if we are, okay, so I need to think of this like watercolor. Some of this is just going to have a mind of its own. As I'm working with tools I'm not familiar with and methods I'm not familiar with, I just need to embrace that some of this is not going to go exactly where I want it to go, and that's okay. Okay, I'm putting a little bit more bleach here. Okay. Suck some more up. This could be a fun, like, spraying way. So far, I think the pipette isn't melting. This is a very strange experience. All right, I'm gonna keep goofing around with this. I'll be right back. You can just enjoy a time lapse. Please get down. Okay. Okay, lots going on here. I'm attempting to make a gradient in this area where it'll be really bright orange here to a darker orange. This stuff out here is still setting, that I did like the full with the pipette here to get our brightest orange out here. It's looking really cool, but it's taking a long time for that gel to settle into the fibers. I did have an oops where we had a bit of a streak of bleach come across the paper right here, which I kind of dig in that effect, that streak. I'm wondering how I did that because that could be cool to do more of that effect across the whole thing. So I may have to pull up my experimental sheet and see if I can recreate that effect and do it more at the end. So we'll see. Yeah, this is very interesting. Right now it feels really messy. But again, I always advise don't judge halfway through a page. Just keep going, think about your rules, contrast, all those things that you know that you want to do, and don't give up. That's what I'm telling myself, don't give up. So we'll keep moving. Okay, so what we're showing you here is a cool time lapse of the bleach effect, of how it affects the paper. So cool to watch in real life and sped up like you're watching it right now. This is such a fun thing to play with. You really have to try this at home. Okay, I wanted to share with you, I ended up cutting the tip off of the pipette. You can see this part of the pipette usually is attached on like that. And it was just not flowing well, I think because I'm using the gel form of the bleach. So I just cut it off. And now I'm able to be a lot more precise, surprisingly, and use the pipette more efficiently. So that's been great. I added these dots here, so we'll see how that looks as the dots bleach out. And yeah, I'm starting to love it again. Went through the phase where I hated it, and now we're back to loving it. More of these streaks are appearing by accident. I would need to figure out how I'm accidentally doing these streaks because I'm loving them. I want more of that. So I'm going to keep going here, and also I am using my heat tool. This is the one that I have handy. A blow dryer would work just as fine, and it's helping speed up the bleaching process onto the paper. And it looks like Rose is back. She must not hate the bleach smell that much. She went out for some fresh air and a drink with Steve, and now she's back. Oh, she's leaving again. I don't know if she'll stay or not. We'll see. I'm not going to make her. I never make her sit with me during art. It's always her choice. Unless it's something really toxic, then I send her out. But it's always her choice whether she sits with me or not. But yeah, this is so much fun. I'm loving the contrast I'm getting. Yeah. Keep going, Jennifer. So much fun. Okay, so I need to figure out how to do these strings of this bleach gel. So I'm going to move my mandala to the side while the bleach is soaking into certain parts, and bring up my experimental page here. Are you fixing your bed, Rose? So Steve just came in. Do you want to see the bleaching so far, Steve?
Yeah.
Look how cool.
Oh, wow.
So I'm playing around with trying to get contrast now.
So the brown and the yellow is the bleached black?
All of it is just different layers of bleach. So the more bleach you lay down, the different effect you're getting. And then I'm using different tools to get different, like sometimes it's the brush and sometimes it's the ink blending tool.
Look at all that.
So what I'm trying to decide now, maybe you can help me, Steve, is do I add white? Or like the complementary color. We decided this was orange, the color that's coming up. We use the color wheel and it's orange. So the complementary color to orange is blue. So if I wanted to add, like I could add like a glittery blue into it. That could be really cool, like a metallic blue. Or do I want to stay true? The original thought when I talked to them about this was I was going to use nothing but bleach. But now I'm wondering if it needs more.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
So the next thing I was about to try to figure out, see these cool little, let me see if I can show them, how I'm getting these streaks by accident. I think it's the gel is getting streaked as I'm working with it. So I'm going to try to figure out how I'm doing that and do it on purpose across it for fun. But what do you think? Should I add white or blue or be true to the challenge?
I lean towards being true to the challenge.
Okay.
That's what I would lean towards.
Okay.
Or if you were to do something, maybe the clear glitter.
Oh.
If you wanted
Just
to bling
clear.
something.
Well, that's a thought. Just clear.
Yeah.
But isn't that cool that that's just the black paper with bleach?
Yeah.
So does that mean that they used those colors to make the black?
I mean, must. Well,
Is that
I
what
guess
that
I don't. I
means?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. All right. I'm going to experiment and see if I can figure out how I'm making these long streamy effects. I'll be right back. Haha! I think I figured it out, how to make those long strings. So I don't know if it's making a difference. I've whipped the gel to a froth, and then I pull the froth to the lip of the bowl, and then using the spatula, I'm like pulling it out in a line. And look, I'm getting the streaks. So I don't know if whipping it helped or if that was just a lot of work for nothing, but it is creating these cool little bubble, so not a straight line, but I'm getting bubble, straight, bubble, straight, bubble, straight, which I'm digging. I think that's the froth. And I did lay some of the frothiness out to see if the bubbles created anything cool. So I'm going to hit all of this. Oh, there, more just fall. What a mess. Okay. I'm going to hit all of this with the heat gun. Let's see what it does when it's dry. Okay, so here's the strings I was able to recreate. And the bubbles, they don't do anything cool, at least the teeny tiny bubbles, the foaminess. So that's good to know. The other thing I wondered about was if you lift it out. I don't think lifting is going to do anything because it's bleach, it's not paint. So you're not lifting paint off of paper. So yeah, it's interesting too when you lift it off, it's this yellowy stuff. It's the pigment or the dye from the paper coming off. Okay, so I think I can recreate those lines now over onto my mandala. So here's how the mandala is looking so far. I like the circly dots that I've added. So there's things I like. Let me tell you what I'm liking so far. I really like this section right here where we've got a bit of a gradient going on. I like this section here, kind of looks like flames or something. I like the really strong bright orange we got here. There are things I don't like. I don't think we have enough contrast between this element and the background and this element and the background. So there's contrast moments I'm not liking, and that's where I'm coming into where I feel like, do we need to add white? But I want to play around with adding these streaks first and see how that changes my feel. So I'm going to do what I learned, which is push the gel to the lip of the bowl and then pull it out. There. So it's going to be very expressive. Very random is what I'm going for here. Almost constellation-y. Wow, that's a statement. Okay. Interesting, Jennifer. Let's hit it with the heat gun and see what it does, shall we? Ooh, it's doing really cool things. Oh. Oh. It's going to be hard for me to not do more of this. Like the too much, like when to stop, you know? Oh, like here. Oh. Look how cool that is right there. Oh. Oh, there's just moments of really neatness going on here. Maybe more in the borders of this effect. It kind of caused more chaos, which I don't like, but I like it so much I don't care. Yeah, I'm adding more on the borders, and I'm going to avoid adding more in the center because it's adding too much chaos, but I kind of don't care because I love it. So I'm going to add more crisscrosses of it out here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I think I've come to the end of all the bleaching I want to do on this piece. So I've cleaned up the bleach, and what we have here is this. And I want to try something. So what I'm going to do is take my face off of this, and I'm going to have Steve, who does the editing of our videos, I'm going to have him take a picture of this, and we're going to do a side-by-side sort of a before I add more art mediums and an after I add more art mediums. And at the end, after I've added some additional bling and other colors to this, I want to see if I preferred how it looked before, just the bleached version, or if I like after I've added some things. So I've decided I'm not going to add white. What I do want to add is a little bit of the Starry colors by Kuretake to certain areas, and then I might add a little bit of some metallic blue just to up the contrast, because right now it's looking a little chaotic and I want to focus the eye on the things that I want the eye to go to. But I do love this moment right here of this, because this is the pure, just the bleached effects, and I kind of dig it. So I want to see the before and after. So again, I'm going to have Steve take a screenshot right now of this with this on the right, and then later in the video, so stay tuned to the end, we'll have a side-by-side with the finished one over here on the left. Okay, so I'm not going to take you through too closely the process of me adding some extra products onto this. So just sort of sit back and enjoy the time lapse of me adding some fun products on top of this. And I'll come back to you at the end and show you the finished results. Okay, so in the end, all I used for adding color to the finished piece for this mandala was the Kuretake Gansai paints. I used the blue number 860 from the Gem Color set, and I used two colors from the other set that I mentioned, the Starry colors. I used the golden color, which is number 903, and the peach gold color, which is number 904. So I'll move it in the light here when I get it done, and you can comment below which one do you like better, the version of the mandala before I added the Kuretake paints or the version after. Okay, here it is on the left, the finished version with the Kuretake paints added on. So I only added the blues in very specific spots because it's the contrasting colors, so I wanted it to be very minimal. The other two golden orangey colors I used in all the other shapes on the mandala. So on the right was before I added the paints, and on the left was after. Which one do you like better? Comment below. What do you think? Now let me move it in the light for you so you can see how the Kuretake paints catch the light. And I love how the bleached out paper below shines up through the translucent Kuretake paints. I think that looks really cool. I really like it. Let me show you from this angle how it looks with that light. Cool. I'm going to call Steve over and let him look. Steve! He's on the computer editing stuff. Come and take a look at the final version.
Oh, fun.
What do you think with the Kuretake paints?
I mean, I like them. I think I liked it better when before you did it.
Before with the Kuretake.
Yeah, it'll be interesting in editing to take a look and see.
Yeah. Now I
The
will.
Kuretakes, of course, are amazing.
Yeah, the Kuretake always adds that mwah to things. I will mention that I signed it and dated it with gel pens, and it was really hard to write over the bleached areas, which I didn't expect. So I think the next project I want to try is bleaching, do a bleaching effect, and then try more mixed media with it and see what things will and won't work on top of the bleached paper, because that was very interesting. I even used my go-to Uniball Signo Gold to sign my name, and it had a hard time flowing on top of the bleached paper, so that was strange. Now the other thing I thought you might be interested in was how much of the paper did it get bleached through. So you can see on the back, only in select spots did the bleach leach through to the back. So I'm glad I protected my paper so that the bleach didn't hurt the coloring page on the back. So I will put links to everything. Maybe I'll even link the bleach I used, the toilet bowl cleaner, in case you're interested in trying such a thing. And I'll even put links to the Kuretake paints. And of course, I'll have links to this coloring book in case you're interested in purchasing and trying out coloring on black paper. It is so much fun, and it's been reigniting my love of all these different kinds of art supplies and trying them on black paper. It is so exciting. I hope you enjoyed this very interesting experiment of using bleach in my art studio. It was so much fun and not very hard. I highly recommend it. Lots of fun. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye, everyone. Pretty cool.